Remember, I've had an almost morbid fascination with anything and everything paranormal, especially those things that venture into the darkest recesses of our primal fears and spark the thoughts that for most would be the stuff of nightmares. In 2007, this fascination, along with some unexplainable experiences, led me to start a paranormal research team known today as Everyday Legacy Paranormal. Then in 2011, a road trip led myself and a close friend into the darkest places we had ever been. That was the beginning of Road Trip Paranormal. Now, while still active with them, I no longer lead either of those teams, but the people that make them up are the best friends a guy like me could ask for. Myself, along with Jason, Leo, Roth, Max, and Michelle are reaching out to share our passions for everything odd, fringe, and paranormal with the world. We are Cryptic Heartland.
And hello everyone, how are you tonight? Welcome to the Cryptic Heartland podcast where did my headphones go? What's up with this?
He's talking about his ears, can't hear him.
Oh, I turned them all the way down, that's what. Yes, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
been one of them weekends.
Has, man. Really
Oh my
has.
God.
Yep.
So, anyway, as I was saying, welcome to the Cryptic Heartland podcast where everything is fair game, nothing's off the table, and we're not afraid to poke the bear.
He's the bear. The bears.
I'm Jeremiah, and over there under the Cryptic Heartland sign is Leo, and the other guy, the bear that we're poking tonight is Roth.
Yep.
What's up, guys?
Yep.
And Jason will be joining us in a little while.
Yes, sir. Yep. So tonight, this is episode number 52. According to what
52.
the thing says down below, so I'll take it for face value. People at home, once again, remember to like our page, subscribe to the channels. That way you get notified anytime we go live, whether it be for the podcast, whether it be we're out and about. You never know where we're going to pop up at. Maybe in your neck of the woods. You never know. So tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell somebody. Tell a stranger, hey,
Tell your neighbor. They'll knock on the neighbor and
Yeah.
go, oh my God, you're not going to believe what's on right now.
Yep. So we had, like you said, Jeremiah said.
Sorry, hang
No,
on.
go ahead.
It just, I wish I had thought to save this because it's funny as hell. But that reminds me of a meme that I saw on Facebook earlier this week. Said, it said, I can just see my people that know me in the future saying, I remember him when we were in high school together, or I used to work with him, or
Right.
I always thought it would be with an axe.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Excuse me. On that note, we take it away.
Sorry.
No, that's funny.
We need some good sound effects.
I know.
You know?
We need a soundboard. Yep. From Splash.
Wah, wah, wah.
But no, yep. Like we had a busy weekend, all of us. Some of us were out in Oberlin, Kansas, at the Decatur County Last Indian Raid Museum doing the public investigation. The other two guys, they were out doing labor, manual
I've
labor.
ever had some manual labor.
Yeah.
Thanks
Playing
to Carl.
cowboy.
Yeah. Jeremiah was a cowboy.
I was playing
hat.
cowboy and Roth was playing electrician.
I
Yeah.
was playing city worker.
Yeah.
I wasn't the one standing up telling the other guy.
You weren't the one leaning on the shovel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a viewer at home. Hey Jim. Jim came out to the event last night, and I'm glad to see you made it home. He drove home from Oberlin to Dodge City last night
Oh, wow.
about 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'm glad you made it home safe and sound. We just pulled in literally probably 30 minutes ago to an hour ourselves. Had to come over here, throw everything together real fast, and get this show on the road. So happy to be here tonight. I may pass out every now and then, from exhaustion, so everybody else in the room might too.
Yeah, I'll just kick him.
Yep. But no, it was a good weekend, a fun-filled weekend. Like I said, we did 2 nights out in Oberlin at the museum for a public investigation. Both nights had quite a bit of activity. Had a great turnout, over 30+ people both nights. Which was
really?
Great.
So the second night ended up closing out okay?
Yeah. So, and and people, we were there every night past 3 o'clock, so it was great. I mean, it was fun. And we actually got to go out and do a mini investigation in between yesterday also too, at a business up there in Oberlin that knew we were coming. Charlene said, give them a call, let them know. And so she said, no, please send them our way. So we did a little walkthrough and had some crazy results already. And we didn't even do an investigation, really, of sorts. We just had handheld cameras and some meters, and stuff. Wow. And a voice box and recorders. So it was fun. A busy weekend. And
was it a restaurant or?
I think I can probably say it because they're going to want us to come back out there. It's the American Legion out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, across from or next door to a house that wanted us to come out that they had used for a rental.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had gotten a hold of Jason and I a while back, and the same lady that owned that owns, I think, the American Legion.
Wow. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I mean, the place is just for itself, it's pretty cool. And when you look out from the outside of it, you walk in, and it's like, or from the storefront of it, you see the facade, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty tiny. Like, oh well, that shouldn't be too big. You walk in, I'm like, this little area, I'm like, that's not so bad. But then she goes, then I'll take you on a tour over here. I'm like, and I go, this isn't it right here? She's like, oh no, it goes on forever, and it does go on forever. It branches out different ways. There's a basement. There's a big old pool hall, a big old stage for concerts or bands and stuff and dances and stuff of that nature. A big gigantic kitchen. There's 2 huge garages they use for storage. There's a big old storage pantry area. It just kept going on forever, and I'm just like, holy crap.
A lot of history.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep. Wow. I'll go ahead and say some stuff about it. Oh, here we go. We got a lot of people chiming in that were out there with us. Renee's chiming in. You better be paying attention driving, Renee. She's going home right now.
She's still driving?
Yep. She just left literally like maybe 20 minutes ago to go to Dodge. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. See, Dan just got home and.
Yeah. What happened to part and time?
Who knows?
Part time.
I see some of our assistants out there. I see Mike out there. They were out there with us last night.
What's up, Mike?
Want to say hi to Dave Green. Hey, Dave. We missed you, buddy. Maybe you can come out again with us soon. We'll get you out there with us and stir up some more stuff. He was at the print shop for the 50th anniversary or 50th episode, and I'm sure he left with some takeaways because we had a good night. People were talking about that at Oberlin, matter of fact. They were like, we watched that episode, and man, it was incredible what you had catching on the SLS camera. They were just dumbfounded.
Yeah, well, I'd like to talk about that later on this evening.
Yeah, for sure.
I've definitely got some questions on that.
Yeah. And once Jason gets back here, Jason had to step out real quick. Oh, he's not here? Oh, there he is. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
You can't see him under the table. He's real low, so.
I just noticed Dan's not here either.
Yeah.
Frank. What happened to Michelle?
They're probably all exhausted. Like I said, all of us got about the same amount of sleep, which was pretty much nothing.
About 3 hours.
Nothing, pretty much, yeah, because we got to stay in the Landmark. Jason, myself, and Renee, and then Mike and Aaron, and I'm going to butcher her name. I apologize. Tana. I think that's how you say it. She stayed we all stayed at the Landmark, which is the old bank vault, the bank hotel on the corner, and things haunted. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to say that. So because the owner embraced us, and all that stuff. It's just the fact that he doesn't buy into it yet or doesn't want to promote it that way. But Jason had an experience. Hopefully, he'll talk about it.
Jason?
He stepped in his own room. Well, Jason and I were going to share a room, but Renee got a little freaked out from the night one. I'm putting you on blast, Renee. Sorry. She asked it because her room had like a main room and then a separate room by itself, like a little sitting room, basically had doors and then like a hallway. So I stayed in an extra room over there because she got a little freaked out from night one. So,
ever since Dodge,
yeah,
she's had
actually Tahlequah did her in because of the incident.
Yeah,
ever since then she's
right.
been a little unsteady and easy, which I don't blame her. I was on edge at Tahlequah because of what we saw, and I came out. That's the first time of the 4 or 5 day trip we were there. I pulled out the machete just in case something.
Yeah.
Because the dogs were going crazy, of course. So, trying to protect us and warn us, and warn off anything that was there.
I've never seen Renee like that before, so yeah, definitely.
Yep. So, yeah. Okay. But I'm sorry, reading comments and stuff, trying to stay on top of things. But no, it was just an interesting night. As far as mine goes at the Landmark. When I was sitting there, for the most part, it's a beautiful place. I mean, it's kind of, there's the old part of it and a new part they added on to it. And it used to be an old bank and the courthouse also too at one point. But they turned the rooms into, there's a judge quarters. It's a room now. There's they have them labeled certain ways, and we were all up on the top floor, which was kind of nice. And for the most part, it was pretty much our hotel. I mean, because nobody else was around that I saw, anyways.
Is it set up like Wilson?
Think the way it looks inside Council Grove.
Oh wow! Okay.
With the old time, each has its own theme and older motif. Well, it's not motif, but decor. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
interesting.
It's very sweet. I'm not gonna say pretty sweet. It's very sweet. The way it's set up in there, and there's like a nice little sitting room in between, like a gathering room with a table in there and stuff that Jason hung out, and we hung out there quite a bit during our downtimes, and if we weren't in our rooms. But with my experience in the place, matter of fact, it was last night. Well, I say last night. Let's try this morning at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying there and just trying to get some sleep, whatever. And all of a sudden, I have some pillows on my feet while my feet were at the end of the bed or where I was sleeping on, and one of them went flying. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, and then I could feel like something cold touch me, like just grab me. I'm like, whoa, hey, there it is. And I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to listen for anything, and I'm hearing bangs around in the room. It's a small room. It's not very big, the one I was in. You hear some banging around. So much that Renee asked me today, she's like, were you jumping around or moving around, like hitting the walls in there and stuff? I go, no. That was whatever was in the room with me, touching me and stuff. And she's like, I could hear it. I swear that was you moving around. I was like, I was laying still, Renee, other than when I jumped when the pillows fell, and then I felt the coldness on my hand. Didn't catch any voices that I know of during that rotation. Now the night before I did run a recorder, but I haven't reviewed it yet. But last night I didn't, because I left it at the museum itself overnight with the recorder. So I didn't have it that night, unfortunately. So
put one in there.
Yeah, but something went on, and like I said, Jason has some experiences. If he ever comes back and shows up, I have a feeling he's not coming back. He's like, I'm going to go home and go to bed.
Himself, right?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He had a little, and if he wants to tell it, like I said, we'll see. But, yeah, the museum, okay, from previous, I think it was, I can't remember if it was our own private investigation, I think, do you remember in that back corner we set the DVR up by the military?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? You may not know.
Yeah, we were up by the.
You were there.
Yeah, by the back door.
When the grid light turned on off by itself. You remember that when we were saying,
right,
okay,
when we were getting ready to leave. If you wanted us to go ahead and shut the light out, and it shut off.
Michelle said that, and then all of a sudden it clicks. And I look back at Michelle to think, okay, why you turn it off? You say it and then you just turn it off, Michelle, and she's looking around like, what in the heck? And she's looking down at the grid, and you can see it wasn't her that turned it off. She's not even close to the grid light. So keep that in mind. So we ran in.
And I think if I recall, we heard the click.
You could hear it.
Yeah,
it's a push button light, so you can't just turn it off. It's not unplug it, it's click. You can hear it physically change. When we turned it back on, the setting was, you had to go through a couple of settings to get where the setting we had it on, which was kind of interesting itself. That was in a previous investigation about 2 years ago, I think it was, when we were out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, with that in mind, we put the grid light in the same general area, facing the same area. We did the investigation Friday night, turned everything off, and we had the keys because Charlene gave us the keys to the place. So nobody else was in there. So we came in yesterday about 12:40ish to grab some equipment to go to the Legion, like I said. and I come walking down the long hallway to where the DVR is, and I bend the corner, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is on. The grid light was on by itself again.
Wow. It turned itself on.
Yeah. And Jeremiah's phone's going off.
Should probably go grab that and
Yeah.
get it real quick.
Yep. And I'll get back to the rest of the story here. Sorry, guys. We're trying to get through some things here. Trying to read some comments here, too. Hi, everybody at home, like I said. So with that in mind, I'm like, okay, last night or this morning, we didn't tear it down. We let everything running overnight. The DVR was up this time. The DVR was off. I turned it off, so we didn't get caught, whoever turned it on. Just as of yesterday or that Saturday, after Friday's investigation. So I said, before we leave tonight, let's make it a point, turn this grid light off. Specifically, this one specifically. I said also, I'm going to keep the DVR running. So it's captured on it. So we're going to have to go back and watch that video at some point and see. Because when I came in this morning, Mike was with me, Aaron was with me, his wife, and Tanya. Oh, shit, I did it again. Is it Tanya? Tana. There we go, Tana. She was with us. It was just us four in there. We walked down the hallway, and I said, hold on, let me see if this grid light's on. So I walked back real quick and look at the corner, and they can see me in plain view. I'm not turning it on myself. Sure as shit, it was on again this morning.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, holy shit, this is 3 times in a row. Well, twice it's been on during this trip. It got turned off, once when we were there, physically in the room with it. So.
And that's interesting, too, because from what the last couple times we've been there, Charlene.
Yes.
Did I get her?
Yeah,
name right?
that's
All
great.
right.
Yeah, that's great.
That's odd for me. I'm usually way off on names.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene told me that they didn't like that.
Right.
Remember? They did not like those lights.
Yep.
So that's different.
Yeah, and
to have them turn it
turn it
on.
For whatever reason, it liked it last night. So yeah, I don't get it, but it was impressive. I was like, well, okay. So hopefully we can watch the DVR at some point. We have a chance to sleep. If we have a chance to sleep,
see when those come on,
see what goes on, and if it goes off and on
those aren't
multiple
easy
times.
to turn on.
No, it's that snap push button on top.
Yeah, and they're a pain.
Yep. So I'll be anxious to see what, if anything, we caught anything last night. Hopefully we did. So that was just one little small piece. Now last night I went live on. Well, we were going live as much as we could throughout both nights. Most of the time on Friday night all night Friday night it was Road Trip Paranormal's Facebook page, so go watch that video if you can. Yesterday we went live initially through Road Trip Paranormal on Facebook, but for whatever reason Jason kept having trouble with his phone.
I think he said something where he kept dropping, I noticed.
Yeah,
or
for whatever reason it dropped. Well, finally after a couple of unsuccessful attempts I just turned ELP on and it went fine the rest of the night. So I went that route. So check both pages because there's some great video out there of the investigation and things that occurred. I know Russ was watching when I was live last night, but I think you missed the part in the military room where we set the flashlight.
You mean prior to you go into that room? I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, you had all kinds of action in that corner.
That flashlight, yeah. Coming on, it's coming on and off on command. Usually just, most of the time, I would say probably 90% of the time, if you do that trick, it just comes on. It's hard to make it come off by itself. But last night, the guy in the corner.
Well, and you've always had good luck there. I remember that time.
Yeah.
Max and I and Michelle sat there for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
One night, and I kept telling these guys, we cannot let Leo walk in here and not get anything. And we spent 3 or 4 hours with nothing.
Right.
And then you come in and we tell you, no, we couldn't get anything. And then you walk over in that corner, and you were messing with our motion detector that we had.
Yeah.
And then you were instantly getting stuff.
I know. I see you look at Max. You're like,
What'd
I tell you?
Anybody that goes on these things, make sure you hang with them.
Oh Jesus! Now. But yeah, last night we were getting responses. Even audible responses with the flashlight in the corner, the military. I was asking which war you're in, and I started that's not the war, World War I, and it popped up right away.
Yeah.
And I said, well, just to make sure, turn that off, and it turned it off. And I asked, were you ever in World War II? And it never turned on, and that's the secession of the wars. So we think it was a World War I soldier.
That was there.
Yep, in the military section. We also asked, okay, I said, what branch of the military were you? You know, are you Army? Nothing. Are you Navy? I really got Navy out, and bam, it popped on like nothing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what are the odds of that? Okay, turn it off. He turns it off. So you're Navy, boom, it turns on again real fast. So you know, a couple of times. I'm like, okay, so I feel pretty comfortable with Navy. And then, hey, there's Charlene.
Hey, Charlene.
We just made it home a
Sorry, I missed
little bit
you.
ago. Yeah, she was asking about you. So, but then we pull out the ghost box and start getting the actual voice. You can hear it say,
Oh,
I said, I
wow.
want to make sure that this is right. Are you tell me what branch you're in? He goes, Navy. He like says it to the ghost box, clear as can be. And I'm like, holy crap.
So out of the 3 or 4, if I remember right,
Nope.
was there any Navy above
Okay.
you?
There was no Navy above us uniform, and there was no World, not that we could find, no World War I Navy uniforms.
Which could
Okay.
be kind of a animosity toward that.
Or,
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really say,
maybe wanting some attention to that.
and it could have also been, we didn't really say uniform, and we said, is anything of yours here?
Right.
And it could have been any of those kits down below, possibly.
Yeah,
There's
true.
the mess kits, the first aid kits. There's, I know the gas mask was Army, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You could, share them if possible if they were on land at the time. Just different things. But somebody asked, we were trying to find in Navy uniforms, and they found one that said Kenneth. They said, ask if it's Kenneth, and it came on right away. Now, the only difference is Kenneth fought in World War II. So that's why, I'm not saying what we encountered last night was Kenneth or Navy or whatever. It just,
Could be anything.
Strong,
it was
yeah.
it was just a huge. I'd hate to say coincidence, but it was the answering of the flashlight to the voice box was pretty spot on.
yeah.
With your questioning and everything you were doing, and even when Jake was starting to do it.
Yeah.
Prior to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm sorry.
Are you Jason?
Yes.
He just
I'm
popped in on
slacking.
screen out of
I'm
nowhere.
slacking.
Coming from nowhere.
Yep, off camera, so.
I'm trying to catch myself up to where you guys are talking about.
We're just kind of talking. I was kind of more stalling until you got here so you could.
Sorry.
We could
Yeah.
talk
We
some
actually
more.
talked a little bit about the stay at the landmark.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you.
Hotel.
Well, I gave my experiences, yours, yes, Jason, you. I gave my experiences, even though Charlene says, and we know, not haunted.
No. It's a.
I brought it from the museum over with me last night, and so did Jason. So no haunting there. Go ahead. You want to tell your experience there, and if you don't want to, that's fine too.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
I gave mine already.
What was yours?
Oh God, rewatch the video. Okay.
Okay.
No,
No.
I'm kidding.
we don't
okay.
have to.
I'll
do
tell
that.
you real quick. No, this because he was catching up to speed, and I apologize if you were at home. But I haven't told him
Listen
this
to it
yet.
again. Sorry, guys.
I haven't told him this yet at all. He didn't know I had it really
Are you
experienced.
sure it wasn't Renee
No, because
screwing with you?
my door was locked.
You even locked your door from her?
I just locked it because I
Okay.
could. Yeah. Every night I lock it when I was in there, just because whatever.
Right.
Just to test some things out.
Right.
But I was laying in my makeshift bed. It's not really a bed. It's a
Couch
kind of thing. There's a bed that goes in there. I just didn't want to use it last night for the first time. But anyways, I'm laying in bed, and it's about 5 in the morning, and I'm just laying there, and all of a sudden I have some pillows because some of the cushions are right there, and all of a sudden one just goes flying off the bed. I'm like, okay, so what? But it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, whoa, hey! And I felt cold hand on me on my leg, and I'm like, whoa, hey! Right with my feet were close to where the pillows were at, and I was just taken back by it. And then I'm sitting there listening, and I can hear banging in the room, like boom, boom, in different parts of the room, boom, boom. So
Just inside your part.
yeah, well, yeah, so much that when I was talking to Renee about it earlier, she's like, were you moving around your room last night, banging around? I go, no. She goes, I could hear it. It's like you were pounding on the walls. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. But it was in my room. I could.
Wow.
The thing I kicked myself is because the night before I ran my recorder all night. Well, all night, all 2 or 3 hours we got to sleep.
Right.
But I ran it. But last night I took it back to the depot and left it there running all night. Not depot, at the museum. I ran it at the museum all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have my recorder going last night, and I got the
Go
audible
figure.
and
Go
noises and motions and whatever. I'm like, really? The one time I didn't bring it back this time. So that led up to your conversation, or what you experienced in your room.
So Saturday afternoon, we didn't get back to our hotel till about. You didn't say the name of the place.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we didn't get back to our rooms till about 3:30 in the morning. About 3:30 in the morning when we got back. Went to sleep. Got up next day. We went and ate and stuff like that. Went and checked out the. Okay, so you said that too.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Before I start doing.
No, you're fine.
Blabbering in my mouth here. No, we went to the American Legion. Checked that place out.
I didn't tell what went on, but I just said we went there. Yep.
Checked that place out, and then we went to split up and went back home.
We went to the cemetery first.
Yeah, we did go back to the cemetery. Showed half the group that hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
Where the victims were, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that in here in after bit.
Yeah.
Got some interesting things out at the cemetery.
Really?
Yeah.
Compared to last time we were there.
But,
way different.
Really? Yeah, it was really calm.
Yeah, so.
Well, not find out, but find out information.
It's a reveal, a big reveal. So we'll talk about it.
Not paranormal or anything,
right.
Just reveal.
Okay.
Well,
maybe. We'll see. Anyway, go ahead.
Who do I have to leave here? I mean,
he's just mad because he didn't get to go. So
I know,
he's a little
I'm
sore.
butthurt.
Yeah.
Don't get butthurt.
No, you should be. You missed. No, I'm kidding. You missed out. No, go ahead.
Loser.
So then after the cemetery, we got back and give ourselves a couple hour lay down, nap, whatever, just rest, because my feet were hurting. So I'm back in my room. I locked both locks.
You locked the door by yourself?
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about me locking the door from Renee. You locked your doors
Not
from
one lock, but both.
Yeah, see, mine's just a little twist
Because
lock.
the spirit can't,
They can't open
You're
lock.
They can do whatever the hell they want to, Should we talk about you and the Eldridge?
No.
Okay. Who knows what that was doing to you?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, jeez, mental images there. Sorry. So I'm laying there, and I'm going in between that, kind of falling asleep and awake. I did have the TV on, but I had it really low. I'm turned and I'm looking at the wall and the lamp, and I'm starting to drift off, and I just shot up out of bed, because right there in my room, as if it was pretty close to my bed, there was a female voice that just kind of cried out, "Why?"
Like got in his face, kind of, right?
Yeah, it was very sad and very just like, and it startled me right up out of bed. And I got up and I just stood there. I'm looking around, I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, that TV's not even loud enough for that. And I'm listening out in the hallway. There wasn't anybody. I even opened up the door and looked out. Wasn't anybody out in the living room area. No one was around. It was silent. But it was enough for me to just, oh man. But I was so worn out, I just went right back to bed. But I didn't go back to sleep. I mean, that kind of killed my moment of trying to go back to sleep. But I just laid there and just listened to the TV until it was time for us to go eat dinner.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But now, last night, or this morning.
I was gonna say last night.
When we got back,
Yep.
I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. I found Dumb and Dumber on TV. I took my medicine. I went to sleep.
So it apparently came on in my room. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, because I wasn't giving it a time of day.
Because the night before I didn't have much. I didn't have anything the night before. So, but yeah, last night I had my share, which I welcome it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It just kind of surprised me. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was a fun weekend of investigating and just some new things and different things we've never encountered there, and that just I was like, wow. I mean, it was fun. The guests had a good time, like we said, and we already talked with Charlene. We'll be back out there at some point again, and
absolutely,
do some more. Yep.
So did Jake get to use his equipment in the main museum? The
SLS.
SLS.
Is that a code word for? Anyways, I was gonna say something. I'll behave.
Reason I was asking is because when we used it at the shop, the print shop, it was going nuts.
Did you not watch our
Not
show?
all of it. Not all of it.
And by it, he means none of it.
Carl had it busy.
But No, I was just kind of wondering, because it was happening for us.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't wait to go use it somewhere else to see if it was going crazy.
What we did was eat both nights. We had pretty large group of people.
About 30 plus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, but
first night, I think there's more people than there was the second night. I think overall, but the first night, well, both nights we split up in 3 groups. We had only the main museum, the second annex, and then we had the schoolhouse, the gas station, and the depot. So we just split up. We did one group in the main museum, one group out in the annex, then one group kind of split up. We just split it up between because it's smaller areas and everything. So what we had is Michelle had the idea of let's split up Jake for this. So he was the floater all night long.
Yep.
So he just went from one group to another group to the other group.
With the
he did a rotation with them, but he switched to different, and he would carry that around and do it in different areas. So he wasn't in the same spot each time, and he wasn't with each group each time. So it was good. When we had him in our group, it was just in the main museum part, the first main section of it.
Yeah.
Was Charlene with you?
No, she didn't hang out with us. She was all kind of resting and just kind of watching the storms coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, she was watching the live feed basically.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
doing
watching
some
the live feed.
doing some work. Yeah. So I mean, it was some interesting mappings on the SLS camera throughout the night, different locations. Yeah.
First night, it was for those of you who do know what the SLS is and how it does work. We I don't know. You amateur.
It's his first podcast.
You remember how the museum is, the back part of it, it just goes it just loops around in the far back.
Right.
So they did have the gun case, all the guns,
the
showcases.
Yep.
So it's all in there now.
Okay.
So it's all brand new and it looks really good in there.
Same place where all the wedding dresses, things like that are?
No, the wedding dresses are out in the annex.
Oh, so they've changed it up
yeah,
a little bit.
They moved the guns into the main where all the war stuff and the uniforms are.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's where they had planned to move it all.
Okay.
So they have a brand new case in there, and all the war stuff and the guns and all that are all in one space. When Jake was with us, he started. Jeremiah. When he was with us, I don't know if the first night you didn't start off with us.
Me?
Yeah.
I was at the depot.
No, not in that museum when Jake was in there. Because you didn't see where the sewing machine area.
I know, that's that part. So, you're right.
So he didn't really start over we started off in the far back where the uniforms were and the guns. It wasn't picking up on anything there. So he turned and he went down the hallway where the banker's desk is and where the bed is with the Annabelle doll that's laying there.
The bomb sitting in the corner.
The bomb sitting over here. Mm-hmm. But he's walking down the hallway. He passed the bomb and went down the hallway.
Facing the bathrooms. Okay, I'm
okay. With you. So he's passing the makeshift bedroom that has like all that, what an old bedroom and old dolls and artifacts are. And he and there's a baby crib there and all that. Well, and there's a rocking chair next to the baby crib. We were hearing some like pops and taps in there, and that's when the SLS mapped out somebody sitting in the rocking chair, and it almost looked like it was kind of wiggling, like so it looked like it was rocking.
But the rocking chair was not.
The chair was not rocking.
Physically rocking itself. It just looked like it was.
But it looked like something was also in the crib at one point too, for a little bit, or possibly in the arms of the figure or motions.
Right.
At least that's what it was picking up. And then as somebody came across him to come around to get a better look, it went away. And then we heard some movement over where the sewing machines are. They have all the old-fashioned sewing machines, you know, the kind that have the pedals, and you have to like really focus in whatever.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at you because you're
I know, I'm in motion.
You're like reenacting pedals.
But it's funny.
The gun shows, the guns, the military,
and threaded the needle.
And I'm done talking. That's the end of my story.
I have to, man. We're tired, delirious. That's why I'm doing this.
Well, I'm trying to
you're
tell you guys, because
going.
you guys haven't seen you haven't been there.
Yeah.
But the old-fashioned, sewing machines, they have not just a pedal. It's like a huge bar, the plate that goes in. And they have to constantly push that.
You rock on it to make it go.
The motion of that, because the reason why I'm doing the motions to it is because as soon as he walked over there, bam, there was a stick figure that was actually sitting at that, had its legs off over here, and was pedaling and was moving its arms to the machine. And they were hearing noises coming from in that room. Like
tinking around, basically, as if it was actually working on that sewing machine.
It was freaky. It was actually fantastic.
And there was nobody was in that area. It was the guests just watching all this.
Wow.
So
physically, like working the.
As if someone was actually there doing it. Yeah, it was.
That's a whole nother story, later to talk about that kind of stuff. When, we could go way off on this, but it's the whole, like if somebody is attached to that one piece, maybe that person is somebody that used that over and over.
I mean, that's the whole idea of it.
Because if I was a spirit and I
is
happen
that what
to
you
just come in,
the
think about it
life?
is where I'm getting with this is if I went in there, the last thing I would do is sit down on a Singer sewing machine and go, what is this doing? I just probably wouldn't, but
unless it's just capturing a moment in time of what it was doing.
That's what I'm wondering.
One other thing too, you got to remember, these are all donated property that people gave them to the museum itself. From as old as those pieces are, maybe it's somebody that's what they did for most of their life was sewing, and that was their profession or
their
his
passion.
profession.
They loved it.
Or passion, yeah. I mean, you never know. So
I mean, to be honest, while we were there, north of the museum and all that, where the dance hall is and everything, we couldn't get over there in that area, and it was completely separate parts of the building, grounds and everything.
Oh right. Good point.
They had the quilters, group of ladies who were in there quilting. At 2 a.m, they're still going.
They all lasted us pretty much.
Yeah, they all
lasted. Some people were still there, I think.
Jake, with his beard and tall body, he's like peering into the window, staring at him, and they like turned and looked at him, and he's just like, okay.
Yeah,
but
they
2
were
or 3 in the
hardcore.
morning.
Seriously, and they were there all day.
Yeah.
Not just when we were there. They were there literally all day.
They rented out that reserved that building just so they could quilt.
That was all weekend.
And they did it all night long.
2 nights in a row.
Doing it.
Yep.
And so, it's not unfeasible to think that people just love doing that.
Or maybe somebody snuck over from there, or back and forth, a spirit possibly, and was working over here too. I got machines over here not being used. I'm going to go to this building over here.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was interesting.
What's your thoughts on that, Jeremiah?
On the SLS camera, the one.
Oh, one more story.
Sorry.
One more story.
Sorry, don't
hold
worry.
that thought. Think about it.
Joking.
So, as we all know, the tragedy that happened inside the
one of two tragedies.
Yeah, one of two, but back there in the back,
yep.
where the kitchenette is, used to be a bathroom back many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a suicide in there.
Right.
So Jake took the group, and we did have the EMF pump there in the hallway.
I saw that.
Yeah, so he walked over to the kitchenette area, and he was standing there, and while standing there, he actually, no one was in the kitchenette. It's a very tiny room. He mapped out a figure that was actually very tall and standing in the far back of it.
In the same room?
In the kitchenette area.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. I didn't know that.
It was just there for a while, but the guests actually caught it and saw it too. And it's strange. Could have been anybody, but being the same room where the tragedy happened, it's To me, it was significant.
Yeah.
I missed it because I was in the far back.
Yeah, that's why I thought it would be interesting to see if something was following, who I'm talking about with Charlene.
Yeah. No,
Didn't get a chance to do
didn't
that.
have the opportunity to. So
Yeah.
If Jeremiah's ready, you had asked.
Sorry. Yeah.
a question.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Where, we were using the SLS and they're walking around the hallway, and here's somebody sitting on a Singer sewing machine working.
And it actually mapped the figure out.
Yeah, and you could hear it actually working, the noises of it.
Wow.
But it wasn't moving, the machine wasn't moving. You can hear the clinking.
There's like little pops.
Yeah.
Strange movement sounds there, but the figure that's being mapped out, you could tell was moving its leg as if it was working on something. It was moving its arms up and down and moving. It was like it was sitting on a bicycle, but sitting on a seat because it was pedaling something.
Right. That's really interesting. I mean, without the machine actually moving and whatnot, I mean, it kind of it's reminiscent of a residual energy, but at the same time, you have to ask and you have to wonder, would a residual energy map on the XLS? That's
a good question.
I don't know.
You would think because it's I don't know.
There has if my understanding of the way that camera system works is right. There would have to be enough of a material presence there for it to actually land. I mean, for it to land somewhere on the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right.
But we don't know if a residual energy does that or not.
I was going to say that, which poses the question: what does a residual haunting? What is it? How is it being projected? Is it like is it an image just popping over and over like we know it does? But I mean, what is it? In what ray of light? Like you said, is it being viewed in?
Right.
We don't know. I'm not sure if anybody's ever tested that.
I don't know.
And
I mean, that's what fascinates me about that camera system is, I mean, that. Okay. So I have to say this. The only time until now, the only time I had ever paid any attention to that camera system was when it was used on Ghost Adventures, and we all know how I feel about that show.
He loves it.
He's a
number one fanboy.
Fanboy.
A card-carrying member of the Ghost Adventure Crew fan club.
Exactly.
Did you get a flashlight?
Zach Baggins is my boy. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Anyway.
Wrong group.
Moving right on along. Right on along.
Did you see that dirty hat facing me?
That it's. So I've got a bunch of research I need to do into actually how it actually works.
Right.
But it's really interesting.
Because you wouldn't. I mean, okay, so if you were a spirit and you're allowed in that place to hang out, whatever. Why are you going straight to a sewing machine? Is my thing. Like,
it's yours.
Well,
we don't know what a spirit thinks.
Let me.
There's so much to do there. Why would you be working this?
I guarantee you, if my grandma, she had one of those old Singer sewing machines that operated off, and she used that until she couldn't anymore.
Right.
And until she physically couldn't sew anymore.
Sure.
And there were electric sewing machines and even computerized sewing machines, and she could have afforded them, but she preferred the old foot pedal Singer sewing machine until she was physically incapable of sewing anymore.
Right.
And I guarantee you, I know that would probably, if she were to ever from the other side visit that place, that's probably the first place she stopped.
Right.
hanging?
Just to check it out.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a stupid question on my end, I guess.
Because I was going to say
Really
the same thing
was.
with you. What would you do?
Yeah.
Would you go to the sewing machine or would you go to the golf clubs?
I'd go to the golf clubs.
Exactly. So it's something you're passionate about in life.
So Grandma would be like, "Hey, he did die. Why would he be visiting?" I should've
No, that's all right. No, there's no stupid question. Only stupid
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it does make sense. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
why would you go to work? Why would you go to work? But for some people, that's they either loved it or that's just all they knew.
That's all they knew, yeah. Especially for the times, maybe. Yep.
You know?
Definitely. No, that's a good question. Don't beat yourself up over it.
So would you say that it was picking stuff up all the time, or was it like it was at the
No.
shop in certain areas it didn't
We
do
tested
anything?
stuff.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Especially when we went out to the doll room area, to
Over in the second
the
annex.
dresses, the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tested because there's so much bulk of that stuff that he was trying to see if we could map any of that out and differentiate the two, and I think he did a good job of figuring out what was real, what wasn't. And we had guests pop in there, and be on that camera system, and just different things. We ran some tests all night, 2 days in a row, actually.
Good.
So
what are your thoughts on that SLS then? Now that you've had a couple nights to play with it.
yeah, I like it. I mean, because it does serve its purpose. Like I said, if you played any video games through Xbox, it does map you because you're playing. It mimics your motions. Now, is it flawed? Yes, because if you watch yourself, like on some of the games on Xbox, like the sports games, you can do dances, and it doesn't mimic your dance move to a T. No, it kind of bounces off and does weird motions. So it's limited capability in some areas, but it does map your actual body motions as it records your camera. It was recording your actual physical presence too. So I think it's a good camera. That now we've used it a couple of times. This is about the third time we've used it, and like I said, it's flawed, but for the accuracies. I mean, for when you're staring in a dark area and only one investigator's in there or nobody's in there, and then it starts mapping something.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If it's mapping something, there's something there.
It's possible. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's energy. I mean, it's manifesting. So.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Nancy says we need 3 more. We're working on it, Dan. You know that. We're working on it. So, trying to think of anything else we want to talk about from last night or the previous nights.
Lots of stuff.
Right.
How do you?
Yep. Dan.
Wow.
I know. I'm trying to think which way we're going because we only have limited. Jason and I we were in the same rotation, same group both nights. We kept the groups the same as far as the team members for reasons. I mean, different reasons.
How about the depot? Where you get your tickets, the little boy
Yeah.
that likes to turn the light on and off, and
Well, we started both nights. We were the first team in there both nights,
Yeah.
so
It was still
a little
daylight.
quiet. Yeah.
It was like loud birds
Yeah.
and still cars going up and down the neighborhood street right there.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was pretty humid in
Yeah.
there at the
Very
beginning. Not a lot. We had Dan's Boo Buddy
okay.
Yep.
in there.
How'd that go for anybody?
It was kind of mixed reactions for some people. Some people liked it.
Yeah.
Some people were just kind of, I think, thrown off by it talking every so often.
Continuously, right.
Because they were trying to ask questions and then it would talk like right at the same time they were talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of, and it was just a small space.
And
I mean,
through some of the investigating, they came across the possibility that the child that we think spirit's in there may not have liked it.
Yeah.
We removed it from the
Yeah, we
equation at
did.
one point.
Yeah, we did.
Jason and I did, and nothing really changed as far as we know,
Yeah.
other than unless it's on
Who was
video. and
thinking
audio.
that
what would
he didn't
probably-
like it?
Well, Jake and them, and we'll
Yeah.
talk to them when they come back on the show soon.
get their perspective
Why
on
they
that.
they thought they didn't like it. I mean, they were asking questions and probably getting responses through different
Okay.
devices.
What we should have done is put it over in the schoolhouse.
Good point. Yeah.
Probably should put it
Next
over
time.
there. Next time.
Yep. We'll be back. So, excuse me. I'm losing my voice here. Probably a good
Should we
thing.
do a couple shout outs there?
We can. Yep.
Let's
go
do
ahead.
it.
Do it.
First night that we were there, we in Leo and I's group, we had a couple guys that were in our group that you know, as we were like handing out equipment and doing everything and getting set up and getting ready to go out to the depot, I turned around and to ask them if they wanted anything or they need anything, and here they were. They had like cameras with these gigantic like arms and
they had some good professional rigs that they
they had their own rigs.
Almost blew our equipment out of the water. Probably did blow our equipment out of the water, but they had their setup wise.
Their camera, their lights and everything.
We're gonna take a minute.
Hold on.
I thought you said something and I didn't catch it. Okay.
No, they just. He was going to ask if they wanted to use some of our equipment.
Did you space out that quickly?
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
So
So anyways,
Carl really kicked your ass, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Carl whooped me up.
But no, so I turn around and I look at them, and they're both carrying these huge rigs with their camera and these lights all built onto it.
Like
I mean,
multiple
it was
different
amazing.
lights and different meters on their rigs and stuff. And
I just smiled and I was like
a
"You're good to
air
go."
pack, but it was on the
pretty damn close. It was this big.
Yeah.
So about that.
Yeah, I was just like, "You're good to go." So as we're walking out, the shorter guy, whose name is Dennis, he actually tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "You should really talk to this gentleman. You know, he builds this stuff and everything like that." And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then and the guy he's talking to is his friend Rich, which you talked to them more than I did. Okay, so so Rich actually builds this equipment. He's from Colorado Paratech.
Yeah.
He actually builds this stuff and has built the equipment for Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
And stuff, and they were there last Friday night to hang out with us and everything. Dennis actually lives there in town.
He just moved there
from Colorado to there. Bought a. I won't say. I won't give out their whole life or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they live there, and they came out to see how we did it.
That's interesting.
And I think they had a lot of fun. They said they had a lot of fun and everything, but.
And they also, Dennis has his own company called simplyghost.com. It's basically a paranormal group out there he works with, and we've been
out in Colorado.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
We've been invited out to join them in Colorado.
Yeah, out in Colorado. So
we got some work games behind the scenes with them. We're working with them closely and stuff.
When are we leaving?
Yeah, let's leave tomorrow.
Yep. We just got back how many minutes ago? An hour ago, and we'll leave again, all right?
We should just left Oberlin and went straight to Colorado.
We were closer. Well, we weren't that closer because their drive from Oberlin to their place was another 4.5 hours. Yeah. So it's about the same distance we had to go this way.
They were talking about going out to Kansas City.
Yep.
With them. They meet up with other groups out there. And
we're going to join them at some point out there in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Different city. Not Kansas City.
Cannon. It's Cannon City.
Cannon City?
Cannon
City. Yeah.
Like a cannon?
Oh, that's down in Royal Gorge country.
There you go. Yep. That's it. Which I would not be going across, which I not.
It is not that bad.
I am not doing it, dude.
The boards do move.
I'm not doing it.
It does sway a little bit.
Still not doing it.
But
you drive on it, or do you
Yeah, you can drive
not doing it.
It's from one canyon cliff to the other canyon. I love it. I've done that, and I've even done the whole wire tram thing across. You've done it.
Yep.
I can love it. I can love it from afar or in pictures.
It's a solid bridge. It's safe.
It's only 1,000 feet in the air. Okay.
Well, let's go twice then. Let's go backwards.
When you look down at the river and you see the rafters, they look about like that big.
The raptors.
Going down the river.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one,
dude.
It is awesome because they have all 50 flags of the U.S. going down. It's just
Take
it's
pictures
awesome.
for Leo and I as you're driving back.
I don't really get scared of much things, but freaking heights do that'll cave me in every time. Yep.
To get to the other side.
No, that's a joke.
No, but I really enjoyed them. Looking at their setup was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
They're in the depot. The Dennis had his rig set up, and he just had it on the counter, and he was able to just like pan the light anywhere he needed to, and had the handles there. And
how much?
Oh, I didn't ask.
It varies. So you can get novice to expert on the stuff he has, and there's other stuff that
small school car versus.
Yeah, I mean it's your typical cost. You figure maybe a couple $100 and stuff for different things. That's just for lighting and stuff and different. Now the thing is, with some of the stuff that we have on our equipment, his company built already. Some of the stuff we use in our groups. So unbeknownst, we didn't know that the lightings, especially the lights.
Right.
It's amazing who we meet.
Yeah.
While we do this, I had no idea until we were walking out there
either,
to the depot.
Yep.
So it was cool.
Yep. And he said we're just curious. We do paranormal events out there too, and we just curious how you guys do it and did it. How you guys do it? Sorry, how you guys do it? Sorry, my southern ghost is coming at me. How you guys do things out here, and you guys did fantastic. He said we were really impressed with you guys.
Really?
We want to work with you guys, and
that's awesome.
Got some things coming up in the future with
and
them.
And they didn't even get to meet Ruby.
Who's Ruby? I know. Kidding. You mean Kermit?
Oh.
Hi ho, this is Courtesy Frog.
We've had a long drive. We had a
lot of talks. We had a lot of chats.
That was awesome. That was awesome, Leo.
Yeah, we got a lot of talking going on, buddy.
Wow.
Stuff that Jason's like, how did I not know that?
Yeah.
Well, I've got something for you.
Oh, please, throw it our way, man.
Oberlin.
And we're going to break. Kidding.
I found out
Yes, go ahead,
last
sir.
night while sitting there talking with Carl and Cindy that Carl was born in Oberlin.
Really?
Oh, wow.
He would like both of you sometime to call.
Yep.
Basically, he said that he was born there. He was not raised. But he had me look up some of he had no idea about the raid, the Indian raid.
Really?
I started talking to him more about it when you guys were online, live, and he started saying it made a lot of sense because he had me look up the day that the raid hit,
right,
which was 1840 something. Is that correct? Am I right? Somewhere in there.
Right now.
Okay, so
I don't think so. That was later because
later.
We asked Charlene about the oldest grave out there, and she said that 1873 was the oldest one.
Maybe that's 1871. I think.
No, it's 1873. Excuse me. She said a few years before the raid started.
Okay.
So it was in the late 1800s.
Okay,
sure.
So here's the interesting part. He's full-blooded German.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he said that he wants to look at information because, when stuff like that happens, and Oberlin was so small, and you have 18, 19 people die, you take families away, stuff like that. He's, and I'm sure they're watching this, and I may be off a little bit. If I recall, there was something about the government and the family, and it's where they say, okay, hey, the government's going to come in and say, hey, look, we're going to take you guys and take you guys to Oberlin. If you do that, we'll give you the land, we'll give you this.
Right.
And he was trying to put two and two together on why all of a sudden his family was moved to Oberlin.
Oh, interesting.
Is it possible that when that raid hit, there's a lot of families that died, the mothers, the daughters, the kids,
and not to mention everybody was scared away.
Right.
Well, I don't think when the raid happened, I'm pretty sure that the women and children were spared.
Some of them.
Not every one of them.
One down by the river was.
Down by the river.
Well, and what we also found out too, we went out to the cemetery, and remember when you were last out there with us, they had the story that was there at the cemetery. They took it down.
It's gone.
I guess there were some inaccuracies that were brought up, and so they had to remove it.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think I have pictures of the
I do.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Are they is there a new
I
story
don't know.
coming?
I don't know yet.
Don't know. So,
or did it offend somebody and they took it down? I mean, they're taking shit down all over the place now.
Language. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, I don't know.
Kidding.
But historically, I mean, it was right there. So if something is wrong, they have to remove it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Because you don't want to keep. Yeah. You get sued or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
But anyways, you three should get a hold of Carl, have a little conversation, or maybe next time they come in town, we meet.
Yeah.
Hang out, have a couple drinks, and talk about that because he was really interested in when his family
I think it'd
came
be
out
fun to take Carl up there. Carl and Cindy both.
Yeah.
Up
He
there.
would love to go.
Sure.
They would love to. They really would.
I mean, if
and
he's
he
born,
said he would like to do it on one time when we have 2 nights, because that way you could spend the day.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could hang out with him,
We
and then
loved
instead
it.
of we get there a couple hours before the show and have to leave the next morning, it'd be a waste.
Well, we already got our work cut out for us. We already have 1, 2
We're
extra
going back out
things
to
lined up that
Overland.
people already approached us on.
Good.
Yeah,
So,
out there.
not even
so-
related to the museum. 2 new things out there that we maybe 3.
Really?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
very
other
cool.
people that got a hold
Yeah.
of us prior.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
That was just from last night. So, Jeremiah, you about ready for that time?
Yep.
I'd like to bring it to a screeching halt, but it's about time for a break, and we'll come back and continue on what we're talking about, last night's investigation, different things, and maybe some new topics. So,
Which plug do you want me to put through on the break?
That's all, folks. Not that one.
hair plugs?
We haven't done this one in a while. I think it's.
No idea.
Okay.
It's time for a break.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you're going to give your little speech before you go to the break? Jeremiah?
Like and
Like,
share,
share, and
this
save
page.
this
The
page.
famous last word. This is the last time I'm going to tell you, and he tells us again later on. So.
I think you guys are doing a pretty good job yourself. I'm not going to make a fool out of myself on
Everybody
it this
Come on,
time.
Mr.
please like,
Plug.
share, and comment.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate
People
it.
at home, like our page, like this podcast, share it with your friends, share it with your families, neighbors we talked about,
Yeah.
strangers,
Mistresses.
mistresses, misters,
Misters.
misters and mistresses. Anybody
Break-
want to
break
talk?
time.
Yep.
Well, the break's over now,
Yeah,
so
and we're back. We'll be back here in a little bit, and we'll continue probably being goofy. So.
Yes.
All
I do
right,
talk
here we
my name a
go.
lot, don't I? Damn.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I had to do it, Kermie.
Hey,
God, that was awesome. Yes, sir.
right. We got our break over and out of the way.
Yep.
Got a good phone call.
I was gonna say,
Great phone call.
want to give a huge shout out to
Awesome
Carl and
news.
Cindy.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, he gave us some great news, and we're happy to hear that. And like I said, they're family to us, and we take care of our own. So that's exciting news, man.
I'm gonna get teared up.
Good,
Damn.
good.
Ah.
It's the fruity drink.
You know,
you're drinking.
I want to say something about that.
Go ahead,
Okay, so you know, you hear people saying that, you know, the you know, you guys are family, and but it's actually kind of hard for me to talk about. So last year when I was indisposed for a while, and you know, it meant so much to me that you guys checked in on Stephanie while I was indisposed.
Right.
It was, you know, it really brought it home to me that we really are family.
We are.
And we really do take care of our own. It's you know, it was I can't, you know, express my gratitude for that enough. You guys are
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything, man. It's the unspoken love between all of us that we really enjoy. I mean, we take care of each other.
You know what you guys did for me.
Yeah.
You know, all of you, Carl and Cindy. You know, coming down to the hospital and coming here for her
Celebration.
her memorial celebration.
Yep.
You know, Mike and Aaron showed up to the hospital. You guys were there almost every night with me.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
It really, we really are a family. And that I just, you know, like I was saying, you hear people say that, and it's kind of, you hear people say that so much that the meaning kind of gets lost nowadays. But it's
Yeah.
The actions that we have really puts it to puts meaning to it.
I
It
mean,
just
Paul and Michelle came to the celebration.
Yeah.
Nate, who we've only known for a few months now, you know, he stopped by. He's, you know, I mean,
When he called me every night.
Yeah.
You know, I think the only reason he did not show up is because he felt that he would be a burden if he did.
Yeah,
You know, but every night
that's
he
what a
called
lot of
me.
people say. But you know,
Yeah.
it's like we're all friends, we're all family. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a brotherhood, sisterhood that we
Yeah.
have. I mean, we're like seriously, we're a tight knit group of individuals that share the same common passions. Luckily, and I mean, we've been doing this, some of us, for, you know, how many years now together, and we fight like brothers. We hug like brothers. I mean, we're family. Guys.
we've had our moments.
Yeah, and
we all get pissy and stuff
Right.
like that. You know.
But to the end of the
Not
day,
me.
we still love each other and hang out with each other, and only get stronger, man. Jason, trying to have a moment here. You ruined it, you bastard. No, I appreciate every one of you guys, and it's been a fun journey, and we're continuing on. We're moving upward and outward. So
Well, and like you said, you know, it's a hard field to work in.
it is.
To do this, to be doing it as long as we have. From how long, you know, you've been doing this for passionately.
Since the 70s,
So, like,
right?
17
Well,
years.
you're not wrong.
I know,
but-
same here. I can say that.
At least 15 years. At least 15
Yeah,
years.
I've been. Let's see. I first started the team 12 years ago.
Right.
And
Before
and
that,
it
you were-
was a while before that, a couple or 3 years before that I was really passionate about it. So
Right.
I mean, in pursuing, you know, actively pursuing investigation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And, you know, just a little shout out to us. I mean, we've been doing it for so long, and we are staying consistent, growing, building upon stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Making contacts, building bridges across the state.
Yeah.
Even
such as
beyond the
Carl and
board.
Cindy
Yeah.
and Charlene and everybody like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're doing some tight knit.
And it's the fact that, you know, some people think it's so easy. Some people think it's just simple. To just throw it together and do it, or just piggyback off. Or,
Right.
you know, they try to get too close. You know, it's aggravating, but you know, we stay strong. We do what we need to do. We continue to grow, and we do what we do best. So
Definitely.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now we get to deal with Carl for.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He said a couple more years. I think it's going to be a lot more than a couple of years.
Be a little more than a couple. So better be anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Congratulations,
we've got some road trips with you, Carl and Cindy.
Yep. The future is now definitely on all this stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And that wraps tonight's show. I'm kidding. Where do we go from here, guys?
So, you had a story you wanted to
Yeah. Okay. So this is really this is really cool. So you guys remember the story I told about an experience I had at the farm with the ghost light?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Well, we were at the farm again this last weekend. I saw the same ghost light. Well, I guess it was the same one anyway. Again, which was really cool, and in just about the same place.
Okay, set that up again for the viewers at home. We know the story behind it. Tell us what's going on.
The farm that we have is out in the Flint Hills. If you're not familiar with Kansas and the Flint Hills area, you got to Google it because it's really pretty.
It is.
So
during thunderstorms.
The farm out there, there's a cabin, kind of back up on a hill, and then you have to, from the front porch of the cabin, you look out across. There's a little bit of a gulch there with a creek in the bottom of it, and then another hill that comes up straight across the view. Okay, and there's the hill over there is fully treed, so I mean it's pretty dense woods over there actually. And so you looking out across there twice now, I've seen a ghost light that I haven't been able to explain in roughly the same place, and it's pretty close to where there used to be a house that burned down here, I don't know, maybe a year ago. There was an old farmhouse up there, and it had fallen into really bad disrepair, and I think maybe that's where the light was coming from, but I'm not real sure. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's definitely not a firefly. It doesn't have the green tint to it that a firefly does. It's a bluish white tint, bright, and it flashes on for, I don't know, 3-4 seconds, and then it just fades away. So
just one
bugs don't
time
do that.
and then it's over. Or is it periodically?
Does it keep on coming back on?
Each time that I've seen it, it's only been just the once.
So what are the odds it's going to be the same spot? If it's a bug,
exactly.
Every time you're out there,
exactly.
It shouldn't be.
And I mean, if it was a firefly, it would have to be a lot closer than what it appears. And of course, depth perception can play tricks on you at night. It's hard to say.
But it's not going to be the same spot. Like you said.
Right, exactly.
So it's in a different spot?
No, it's in roughly the same spot.
A firefly will not be in the same spot.
Right.
So, we didn't see a whole lot of fireflies. Well, the first time I saw it, it was it was still fucking cold. I mean, we were down into the 30s, so the fireflies wouldn't have been out anyway.
Out there,
and we didn't see a whole lot of fireflies this weekend either. So
we saw a ton up there, but go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, saw that again, which was really cool. But on more of a kind of an intense note, Stephanie actually had her first experience with a full body apparition, or I don't know, possibly. I don't know. I'll tell you the story and let you guys judge it. So. We're sitting outside in front of the cabin. It's probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night on Friday night.
Okay.
That's just a rough guesstimate. It had been dark for a while, and the kids were the 4 older kids were all outside running around playing. They were playing hide and seek or capture the flag or something in the dark, just having a hell of a time. It was just cool, and. I think I was tending the fire or something, and I hear Stephanie gasp. I glanced over her just in time to see her. Said, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, what? And I glance over towards where she's looking at, and I didn't see anything. She said, so where we were at, if you're facing the cabin from the front, if you're standing in front of the cabin, facing the cabin, off to the left, which would be the west, about, I don't know, 300 yards off, maybe. No, not that far. About 100 yards, I guess. About a football field. Okay. 300 feet. Yes. I'm not a football fan, so so anyway, yeah, about a football field away. There's a tree line that kind of goes straight south, and then it kind of curves back up to the east a little bit, and she saw a white figure standing in front of one of the trees over there that you could make out, and she said it took off running south, and it ran south for about 50 feet. And she thought it was one of the kids.
Okay.
Because it was about the right size for one of the kids. But then something happened that made her realize that all 4 of the kids were standing about 15 feet away from her by the truck. And then she glanced back, and it's still there, and it's running, and then it just stops and kind of disappears about 50 feet from where it originally started.
Maybe going into the tree line?
Possibly.
Does she know? Did she see any features on this?
All she could say was a white, obviously bipedal or human type figure.
Wow.
And she was obviously shaken. I mean, visibly shaken over this.
Understandable.
This farm has been in their family for generations.
Wow.
So it's ground that she spent a lot of time on. She thought she knew pretty much everything about it, but she didn't. Of course, my first reaction, well, was it a deer? She said no, it was running on 2 feet. It was, it had the posture of a human being or something standing upright running.
And she said it was like white.
It was whitish or grayish. Yeah, it was obviously lighter than the background of the trees.
Yeah.
Which it was a very well lit full moon night. You could walk around easily without a flashlight. So it was very easy to pick stuff out.
Nothing quite yet.
So,
does she know? I know you said it's been in the family for a little while. Does she know any of the backstory of the land itself, as far as what was near there, or what if this figure could be by chance?
Well, she doesn't know of any traumatic or violent history on the ground, but it's been there have been 2 houses on the ground that one was kind of across the way where I was telling you that I thought I saw the ghost light earlier.
Right. Yeah, what is that? Oh, sorry.
I heard that.
We keep hearing stuff. I've been hearing something agreeing with us. Yeah, and talking to us the whole time.
Huh.
Sorry, it's
weird.
It's been in the room a lot. So sorry.
Okay.
No, you're fine. You're
Here,
fine.
so.
But then another one, if I understand right, was just a little bit to the west of where the cabin is now. And if I understand right, that's actually the house that Stephanie's grandma grew up in.
Is her grandma still around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
she is. But her great grandparents are obviously both gone.
Okay.
Her grandfather is gone, but he didn't have family ties to the land other than just Stephanie.
There was again.
Yeah, Stephanie's grandma.
It's gotta be Connie talking.
That's weird.
You think?
Huh?
I don't hear her though.
There was a high-pitched voice, though.
Yeah.
At one
I
time.
need batteries. Shit. Sorry, I'm gonna try to run over.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. That's
Yeah,
that's weird.
You might ask. You can.
That's
I don't hear.
So going back to your to the story and everything.
Uh-huh.
Throughout a long history with the Flint Hills in modern time, even now, there's been hundreds of sightings of white lights or ghost lights. You know, so a lot of people claim to be, you know, it's spirits, it's mysterious ghost lights out there floating. I mean, they've seen them like moving across the fields and stuff like that. What they are, who they are, don't know. Spirits could be. Skeptics always say that it could be just, you know, the mineral sparks.
Yeah,
ball lightning or whatever.
Like swamp gas, but not that area. Not specifically.
But not in, you know, I mean, you said it's like a white bluish pop to it and everything. And that's the last time. That was like last year. When you saw that and everything. Now, fast forward to the running figure, bipedal, white and gray.
Before you ask that, was it illuminated white light that she's seeing? Was this figure?
I don't know. It
probably happened so fast.
I would need to. I'd need to talk to her more and find out.
Okay. So just saying,
go ahead.
There has been sightings of Sasquatch of that color in Kansas.
One of them was actually not far
along the
west.
Turnpike.
And they think it was a juvenile.
That's right.
Yeah, it was actually
that's
not
been
far.
The last 2-3 years
along the Turnpike south.
Believe.
It was on going to like the
sorry.
to the what exit is that? It's the
Matfield Green.
No, south.
Oh, south of there.
South,
I'm sorry.
Going toward like Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And south. It was the exit.
Yeah, you're right. Is it the Mole Bay?
It was near
South Haven. South Haven exit.
Yes, South Haven. That's it.
There was a juvenile when they got out of the car because they got a flat. They pulled off to the side, and it's just open field right there, and the overhead bridge for the exit. Got out, they saw the figure, it backed away.
Wasn't it crouched at first? They thought it was a trash bag or something sitting down there.
Yes, they did. Until he finally looked over and just paid attention. It turned around, stood up, and like looked at him, and was like holding onto the fence and like panicking itself.
Right.
And then he took off, it took off, and last he saw it was going up the hill.
Right.
Now, also, you say you had your kids out there.
Excuse me.
So there's a lot of researchers out there who say that Sasquatch is actually attracted to the sound of children playing, or the sound of laughter.
Curiosity, or...
Yes, that, watching the children playing, laughing, making noise, and seeing the little versions of us.
Right.
So let me ask the question, why do you think that is? Why children of all things?
Okay,
let me tell you this, because with ghosts, the paranormal side of things, we always figure they go to children because migrate towards children, ghosts, because they're so
sensitive. Right.
They're so impressionable, whatever it's called, or they're blank slates as I call them.
Right.
So I was just curious.
Well, I mean, for children, for a Sasquatch, I mean, the way I see it, I don't know if the researchers all think that way, but children are less threatening.
Right.
Whereas
versus a human,
us adults, our first thing is to do nowadays. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Right.
We're more threatening.
That makes sense.
And we always have something in our hands, whether it's our phones or equipment or something, where kids are just running around laughing.
Right.
Okay, so that's
if what current research suggests is true, and they are actually a North American great ape that's undiscovered, then great apes have a higher intellect than other animals. They actually show pure curiosity.
Well, we have no idea about this group.
Right.
I think they're highly intelligent, probably more so than the gorillas and apes and everything that we have studied.
Right.
But
they'd have to be to remain undiscovered, like they have.
If Stephanie was kind of moving about, was she up and about, moving?
Well, she was standing pretty still. She was not far from me, which
again.
she wasn't far from me, about maybe 15, 20 feet, and I was directly in front of the cabin. So, excuse me. So, yeah, she was still probably the same 300 feet away.
Right.
But she was standing still. Her and I were talking while I think I was tending the fire or something, and yeah.
For some reason, whenever it appears to be that they're noticed or they're seen, they take off running. They always seem to go the opposite direction to hide.
Right.
Whether to go back to an observation standpoint or whatnot. But, you know.
And to add to that, because I knew this was going to come up, because it's perfect. It fits the bill.
Well, and because Brendan has actually said he's recorded his own boys.
Right.
You know, at the lakes and just out and about,
playing,
laughing, talking with each other, and interacting.
Right.
He was going to use that and kind of blow it off onto a speaker whenever we do research.
Right.
And so
Right.
To
Makes
see
sense,
if anything comes to our camp.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. That's actually a cool thought.
I know.
But,
yeah, right.
So, I don't know, probably 20 minutes after all of that happened, maybe 30, somewhere in there, directly to the south of where we were, where it appeared to come from anyway. The sound kind of does funny things out there. But directly to the south of where we were, I heard like some branches breaking, and it sounded like something walking through the woods there.
Heavier than normal.
What's that?
Heavier
Like
than
the
normal.
head-
Yeah. Oh yeah. The leaf litter out there was pretty damp, and not. I could walk around fairly quietly, except for in certain spots where there's just a lot of deadfall and whatnot, and then you just hear the.
But if something's trying to creep around and get to areas that's
Right.
not really accessible, you'd have to break through stuff.
Right, exactly. So, there's that, you know. And then the place is the place is perfect. It's perfect habitat. There's a lot of places to hide.
Sure.
Inaccessible creeks everywhere, hills, woods, deer, rabbits,
Right.
plenty of food source, water source.
Right. It's the Flint Hills. It's absolutely livable out there.
Well, as flat as it is, there's also a lot of crevices out there. Bluffs and stuff like that where they can duck and hide. Move. A lot of cattle out there. A lot of fresh water out there.
Yep.
There's
Deer,
so much.
rabbit.
Why
Whether or not
wouldn't
it's
they be?
yeah. It is. That's why we settled out there. That's
Right.
why we did what we did when we were going out there. So
Right.
Yep.
that's settlers.
And it's such rough terrain. That's why it's still, even though we did settle a lot out there, that's why all of the settlements and the communities out there are still so small, because it's
Right.
so rough and so hard to get around in.
And it's a vast area that there's not going to be any cameras. There's not going to be surveillance. There's not going to be any of that.
Right.
You can roam out there. Jesse James hid his cache out there. Why not have Sasquatch out there?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah. I'd be curious to see.
Did you see how I threw Jesse James?
I did. We had a conversation the whole way about outlaws and shit, and it was fun. Get Jason and I in a room with ghosts to Sasquatch to UFOs to
To Billy the Kid and
outlaws, and we can go for hours, man.
Yep.
Which is fun. But I would be curious to go out there and. Is there a chance we can get out there and maybe do something?
Yeah, possibly.
Set some-
Possibly.
maybe some
I'll have to
trail
talk
cams.
to.
Not tick season?
I'll have to. Yeah. They're thick out there.
Yeah. I
so-
can imagine.
Yeah, they're thick out there. So yeah, we'd have to do it when it's a little bit colder, but.
Yeah.
October sounds
I can-
great.
I can talk to the in-laws and see what I can make happen. So
Just because I was curious to see what
Mhm.
she. Like I said, I would like to do some more research on it. Go that route, but also go out a different route to see why would it be running? Why would it be white in nature?
Mhm.
Why would just
right.
was like I said
Well,
earlier? Was it eliminated?
And I'm
you
not
know?
saying that
No,
it
I know.
is completely Sasquatch. That's where
No,
it makes
it
me
is.
lean toward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The whole
First thing-
experience
Yeah.
from what from what Stephanie saw to what I heard later, and it just the whole experience. You know, another weird thing, the deer out there. This could have been because of the cattle fiasco that happened the next day, but the deer out there that I noticed were a little more jumpy than usual. Usually, every time I've been out there before, when I've seen the deer, they're not quite as skittish. They're not quite as quick to just turn tail and run.
Right. They're more like, what was that?
Right. But you couldn't get anywhere near them. If you could see them, they were running.
Right.
Wow.
So I don't know if that plays. That very well could have been because of the cattle fiasco the next day. I don't know. But
you didn't hear any kind of vocalization or anything like that?
No. But with all the kids around, it would have been hard to pick that kind of a noise out from,
right,
just all the kids.
But on another standpoint of being how old the land is out there, and given it's probably seen its share of either soldiers to, Civil War to, anything past
Indians.
To,
I mean, settlers, I mean, you name it.
It could have been any kind of spirit, even that was just like reenacting something else out too.
Yeah.
And traveling.
Yeah.
And it would be very interesting. It would be really interesting to. The last 2 times we've gone out there, I've taken my full camera rig and everything with full intentions of us getting out, at night to try to do some filming or, whatever, but we just haven't been able to make it happen yet. But one of these days. So, yeah, that would be cool.
I'm game. I'm ready.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got my tents. I've got all that. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. I'll get an RV and... You said tents. That's why.
I did. That's all we need.
Awesome, man.
I'll give you a cot to sleep. It's all right.
I told you. Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have TV?
You've got a hotspot. You've got a hotspot. So that you can get your Wi-Fi there.
We'll see.
You're going to be investigating, so you don't need Wi-Fi.
I'll go out there. I've been out to Tahlequah doing that.
Oh, I
shit.
know.
I'm not sticking.
Well, the thing about going out there is you might as well just count on being out of touch with society.
Is this the place that doesn't have a bathroom?
Yes.
Rose out.
Although that's well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys about that later.
Buckets, and we'll just designate it, put your name on it.
Just take a 5-gallon bucket, Rose.
You just got to dig a hole away from the campsite and bury it.
5 gallon, 10 gallon, it's whatever you want.
I mean,
5 gallons. Whatever you want.
That post.
You got to do it. If you're going to go all the way with this field, you got to do it. You got to get out there. You've been in buildings that are like, 90-some degrees, spider webs, snakes, everything in there. Mold, bats,
Bats.
possums.
Possums.
There's not much difference between that and going out to the woods, having fresh air, all that. Maybe a little
How's that
colder.
fresh air if there's a lot of landmines being dug?
At this
Landmines?
place,
What are you doing with landmines?
You gotta dig holes.
Oh, for your 5 gallons.
I say for the bucket. I'm talking about for your
Fresh air.
for your,
No, we'll be good.
out at this place, we could go out there. We could spend the morning fishing and have a fish fry, and then go ghost hunting.
That'd be fun.
I'm out. I don't like fish.
He's like, I don't like fish. Leo and I will watch you guys fish.
Yep.
We'll help you cook. But,
What's that?
We'll watch you fish.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll catch all the fish if you guys clean and cook them.
I don't like fish, so I'm not touching, cooking, eating.
No. I'll supply. I'll give you. I'll set up with the supplies. I'll go grocery shopping. And stuff. But
We'll fend for you, ladies.
Okay.
But see,
Interesting.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
How far away?
It's I don't know, probably an hour and a half from here.
Hour and a half?
Yeah. It's an hour from Augusta, so.
That's not bad.
No.
I like that.
My sister wants to know if we're still thinking about a trip to Hannibal.
I'll go tomorrow.
You gotta work.
I know, I gotta work. No, I love going to Hannibal. Been going out there my whole life. I love it. I still want to get the entire game. You know, all of us out there.
Right.
I think we would have the most fun out there.
Yeah. It's a cool place. It's a really cool place.
I can drive you around all over the place. I love it.
She lives out there.
Yeah, that's
what Becky? Probably half hour, maybe something like that from Hannibal.
Is she in Illinois or is she Missouri?
She's in Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because all my family's, up there from up there. So I love Hannibal. And for those watching it, Hannibal, Missouri is the Mark Twain area. It's got so much history.
Yeah.
His original house, all the stuff from his stories are out there. They have the caves. They have their own. There's a Hannibal ghost tour out there. That is a lot of fun. I want to reach out to them, to those, to that couple.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Well, we just got to set it up.
Okay.
That's the problem. Is just.
Well, I mean, there's so much going on right now with the team. Maybe
this year, what I'd like to do for next year is not book ourselves so much that we can actually.
You remember that when
I
you
know.
do all the phone calls, buddy.
I know, but not book it so bad that we
Right.
are trapped to not doing what we want to do.
right.
I mean,
right.
busy's good. What we're doing right now, busy is a great thing. We're not knocking that for being so busy.
Yeah,
It's just trying to find any inkling time. You need to come check this out. You need to come do this. It's like, yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But when? Right now, because we're just so booked solid. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're booked clear in November.
I mean,
right
because
now.
everybody's got family, we got jobs we have to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could do this every single freaking weekend, we would, but we can't. It's not plausible. But
Right.
Yeah.
But I would love to set it up for an extended weekend where we could go out to Hannibal. Now
That would
it
be
is
cool.
quite the drive
Right.
because it's on the other side of Missouri, right
Right.
there on the border of the Mississippi.
Halfway across
and Illinois.
Kansas and all the way across Missouri.
Yeah, it's right there on the Mississippi.
Another 4 or 5 hour drive.
Yeah,
More than
it's So it's a heck of a drive, but
I'll do what Dan says. I have a wedding to go to.
Just no. Hey, I made my 5-hour trip this weekend, so
Yes.
it took more than 5 hours because of different things, but I won't say anything more about that. I'll behave. I was going to say something.
for me,
No, just
Did I do something?
No, it's what I did. So
oh, what'd you do?
I opened my mouth and
Yes, you
now,
did.
now I'm like always. So no, it's been a wild weekend, and
Yeah.
like I said, I wish we had more time and effort and money and everything else in between to get out and do all the
Yeah.
things we want to do. And,
Because
in due time.
I want to expand us to not just be in Kansas, but spread the wings and.
Well, we've done that.
Well,
before.
right.
Yeah,
It's
been a
but
while.
more.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
since
but
we've
I
done
want
it.
to go to places that we haven't been.
Well,
I
we're
want to
going-
take you places.
We're going to Colorado.
Going to
We're
Colorado.
going to Missouri. Hopefully, go back to Oklahoma again.
Yeah.
Different places.
Yeah.
Just all over we can. We'll get there. Yep.
I'm being antsy. I just want to do it.
Definitely. Becky said it's about 8 hours from Wichita. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
You said,
Oh.
It's not bad. Once you get past Kansas City, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really not.
I think-
that's what you just drop out from Kansas City.
Yeah, it's
Keep
only
going,
5
pick
more
up the way
hours.
back.
Hey,
not that
I'll
bad.
take you guys to Marceline, Missouri.
What?
I'll take you guys to Marceline, Missouri.
Wasn't there.
It's where Walt Disney lived for 5
yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
He created Mickey
Yep.
Mouse out
Yep.
there.
Yep.
The original Dreaming Tree is out there.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
His
right.
house. What's that?
Wah, wah.
But no, it's really cool historical stuff along the way.
There's
Yeah.
so much stuff
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
here we got to hit still, and
Yep.
yeah. Is that a word?
Yep. I do think we need to start doing some more stuff next year when
A little
we
different.
can take a
Yeah.
Friday evening after work and go and come back Sunday.
Yeah.
This weekend doing what we did was actually nice. We
Mhm.
was rushed. didn't feel as overwhelmed, even though we had 2 investigative nights and actually technically 1 in the day. So I mean, it went very smooth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just nice to just be able to don't feel the pressure.
Take our
but,
time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
everything, the setup went pretty smooth. Everything was great. I mean, we were ready to go both nights. So it was
Yep.
fun. So yes, ma'am, and sirs. I didn't say who ma'am was.
Whoever we're hearing.
He's looking around. That's what I was pointing at, Ruth. The man
Do
in the
that
room.
again. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh my goodness. No, it's been another fun-filled podcast tonight. Time's about there again already. Good God, time flies.
I know. It's been a.
You start doing 3
Whoa.
hours.
No. What were you gonna
That's
say?
a lot of time in the day to do that.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's fun. We can do it. We obviously can do it. We did a 5-hour one earlier on this year, so what the hell's 3 hours? We did it the last couple weeks ago. But we'll come back here next week. Excuse me. Hopefully, I think next week. Let's see here.
Next weekend
Yeah,
we are in Dodge City for 3 days.
Yep. So the 3rd, or is it the 4th? What is it? 3rd,
The
4th?
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, it is. I'm just making sure.
So we're gonna be out there. It's Dodge City Days this week.
Right, which is a big to do out there. It's gonna be a lot of parties, a lot of
I heard the weather's going to be really good there.
hot.
I hope.
No, I heard it's not going to be in the hundreds like it normally is.
90s,
So.
88, 90s.
Well,
I mean, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it
a
should
little
be a
cooler.
little bit better.
Hey, this weekend was 60s and 70s, 80s. So
Oh
I
my
mean, we were up
gosh.
there and it
Yeah.
was comfortable. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
Minus the storm that came through. And
actually
kinda
that helped.
It did. It did for activity, but it kind of threw a wrench into, like, rotation wise.
Right.
And stuff. I know we did. We did. Everybody
Yeah,
else.
We were
not so
dry.
much. Because we were already in the museum at the time.
The big
When
downpour.
it
And so
Yeah.
everybody had to like
Good timing.
move from all the other buildings to the
Mhm.
museum, and it was
Yeah.
they're all coming in going, man, what the?
Yeah.
But,
Like I said, if you get the chance to go on the Road Trip Paranormal's Facebook page, go to Everyday Legacy Paranormal's Facebook page. We had some video all weekend about the investigation. Some crazy stuff happened throughout the rotations. Like I said, I had a door slammed on me and some other stuff going on. And
yeah, and the guest actually saw that with you. And
Yep.
heard it.
That's
I was
cool.
at home listening to that.
Yeah, so
That was
it was
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, so
That's
definitely
cool.
check out the videos, and there's some other stuff going on that occurred.
You were like, okay.
Well, what? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
But
It's
yeah.
like, do I face a spirit or do I run off into the storm? That's
Yeah,
how we are.
the downpour that was going on. I say with the spirits, of course, but it,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but it took me some convincing to walk that way. But
I wondered where you were because all of a sudden you were like gone.
yeah,
I'm turning around going, where's Leo?
well, it's
I've got the whole group, like all the crowd, like right there, and I'm like, "Where's Leo?" They're like,
Nobody knew
no."
because it was just a spur of the moment thing on a whim. I'm like, you know what? Nobody's gone over this area ever, or never, has not gone to this area in both nights.
Yeah.
as far as I
both
know,
nights.
maybe
We didn't-
one group.
Yeah, we didn't go over.
So I'm gonna go hit this area by myself just for killing time till the storm passes over, and then next thing I know, I'm stuck out there and just having some fun. So, yep, the viewers at home got to witness it all, so that was fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, I was talking to Roth. He was chiming in. I know Annette Kelly from out in Flint Hills Paranormal was chiming in, and Chris Anderson from Dot City was chiming in. So it was a fun interaction. A couple other people were there, so with me, and they were say good luck. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, well maybe next week we can talk about more about the investigative side of things. Maybe show some of the stuff we captured and just little things like that, and
Yeah.
whatever else we got going on, maybe from Dot City Days and whatnot. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go live next weekend too, as much as we can, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll have to use your
No.
hotspot.
Yeah, we'll make it work. So we'll make it work. Yep.
But yeah, we'll be at the depot. The depot
Santa Fe
theater.
Depot.
Cool.
Theater company out there. Yeah.
3
That's-
nights in a row.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And as far as tickets go, I don't know what the sale count look like or
I
what
don't
the deal
know.
is.
I
So
don't know.
just call the depot,
Yeah.
the Santa Fe Depot theater company down there, and they'll let you know.
What spots
Yeah.
they have and how many areas going on.
Right.
We could be sold out. We could be absolutely nobody. I
Right.
mean, it's Dodge City Days, so they're just kind of doing it as a thing to help. I mean, the crowds are going to be out there, so
Yeah.
we're going to be there. We're going to be investigating whether you're there or not. So
the town's going to be alive, that's for sure. It's a big to-do down there during this time. So there's rodeo every night down there, so it's one of the largest ones. I think the largest in Kansas, the largest, about the third or fourth largest in the nation. It keeps flipping, so
wow.
Yeah, it's a big to-do down there. There's concerts every night down there. There's dance parties, all kinds of stuff. Or block parties, excuse me. It's a big to-do, man. It's their big thing throughout the year. So
huge rodeo, a lot of people getting hurt.
Yep, so.
Being kicked off of those things. I just don't see how they do it.
That's a real man's game right there.
Yeah. And once again, I want to say thank you this past weekend to the Decatur County Last Indian Raid Museum.
Charlene.
Go out there.
Lisa.
Yep. Even if you don't go investigate, go out there and just check the museum out. The place is awesome. There's 16 buildings, 15 to 16 buildings.
15 buildings.
Well, we always get 15 buildings, but there's actually 2.
What was that?
Something's got thrown at me. The shit. I have no
I don't
idea.
know. Rock the table though.
That was
kind
weird.
of hurt. Anyways, there's 15 to 16 buildings. We get access to 15 most nights.
Yeah.
There's 2 other buildings I think we don't even get to see yet.
They're kind of smaller and,
Yeah.
and not much in there, but we have,
But still,
I mean,
what's in there though? You never know.
yeah, artifacts.
Yep.
I mean, there's stuff that is probably like part of the depot we haven't seen. There's a lot of historical documents and artifacts that are in there, stored away and stuff. Which we don't need to be going through stuff. We don't need to have it public, but there's so much stuff that's packed away in there.
Yep.
So
Definitely. So, like I said, go out and just give a tour. I mean, the museum itself is awesome. There's so many artifacts, beautiful things in there, interesting things. Sometimes we catch ourselves, sightseeing more than we should.
real quick, I mean, we kind of started
Go ahead, sorry.
a little off anyway. Back to the cemetery there in Oberlin. I found when I was walking through, just kind of walking around, there's there in the museum, the Wooten desk, and Otis Benton. He was the banker that owned the desk and some of the artifacts in there. I found his grave and his wife and all that out there in the cemetery.
Wow.
Something I didn't know.
That's cool.
I didn't know he was out there, but it was I mean, a huge monument with the name Benton on it. Had a small little wall, concrete wall all around it, and they were in there and stuff. It was very beautiful. I mean, it was just not. It was kind of peaceful and nice to see the actual grave site of the person that we've been kind of interacting with there at the museum.
Which
pretty neat.
Which kind of leads up to the next point. We won't give out any details yet, but we had another interaction with the graveyard that we'll tease for
From
a different time.
A story that was given to us on this trip.
Yep. So there's more to that, stories in the graveyard and all that stuff. So we'll give it to on another podcast, upcoming podcast. Yep.
Let's just say Leo hit something pretty good on that.
Yep. So little teaser there for maybe a future podcast, maybe next week. So
because Dan and Jake were there too, and we're kind of a part of that storyline.
Right. So. All right, boys. It's about that time, and maybe girl that was kind of weird here and talking earlier. So
I did text my wife and tried to call no answer, so I think she's asleep.
I don't think that was her.
It was just
it is weird.
Anyways.
Yep. So I noticed once I started recording though,
it quit.
So of course. Yep. So, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in this evening. Jeremiah, you want to tell your speech again that we tried?
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you everyone for watching and sitting here with us and putting up with us for the last 2 hours. Take a moment and like and share this video. Like and share and follow our...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say something after you said
that. follow our page and the YouTube channel too, because every once in a while we might go live on YouTube and not on Facebook. We might go live on Facebook and not on YouTube, so you never know. You might as well get notified either way, right?
Yeah.
So, spread the word and
contact the Depot Theater for going out investigating with us next weekend. This weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep. Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys all have a great week, and we will see you next weekend. And hopefully, we'll see some of you at the depot.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Peace out.
Bye.